sea life and the ocean, a hotspot diversity, as Nick was saying. Let's try and see what all this means for marine life there. We can speak to Ben Ireland in La Palma. He's a volcanology intern at GeoTenerife and organises scientific expeditions and knows these waters well. So, Ben, first up, before we start, I understand you witnessed the moment when the lava hit the sea. What was that like?
Yeah, it was a bit of good fortune, really. You know, we've been here sort of reporting on the eruption. You know, we'd finished up, you know, a live connection, you know, a few miles inland, and then we'd heard sort of that the lava was getting close. So we went down to the port of Pasacorte, you know, where there's loads of people there, loads of media, and sort of we could see the lava sort of on top of the cliff almost, you know, with big plumes of smoke coming off it. And, you know, we weren't actually sure, you know, if it had gone in the sea, if it had not, because, you know, there's a lot of smoke coming off it anyway from, you know, the banana plantations and the plastic that it had burned through. But then actually, after we'd been there about 10 minutes, we actually saw the lava descending the cliff, and we saw sort of what would be the characteristic sort of white cloud go up.
Yeah, that's as the searingly, the hot lava hits the ocean. And tell us about the processes then. What happens when it hits the sea, and what does it mean indeed for the marine life there?
Yeah, so obviously when the water comes in contact with the lava, immediately, you know, it vaporizes. You know, it can vaporize quite explosively. You know, create these big plumes of smoke. You know, as you say, the ocean, you know, sort of grey with ash now around there, and yeah, it can increase the temperature of the sea around it. So in terms of the marine life, obviously it's not a good place for them to be, and you know they probably will you know have left the area. But what's interesting is that you know, so these processes don't cause sort of long-term marine impacts. You know, the last eruption on the Canary Islands was in 2011 near the island of El Hierro, and that was actually a submarine eruption. So, you know, very similar to impacts to what we're seeing here, on a much grander scale to the ecosystems. And
yes, it's all part of the natural system, isn't it? And in the scheme of things, I guess it kind of improves and enhances the ecosystem.
Yeah, and it was really interesting to see from the El Hierro eruption in 2011 that actually, you know, within sort of a few weeks and months after the eruption stopped, you know, that all the marine life started coming back. And you know, it's just as you say, it's just a natural process, and it's quite interesting to see how quickly, you know, these sort of local disturbances to the sea, you know, with all sort of ocean circulation, are really redistributed and dissipated, you know, quite quickly. And I think on some of the deposits on the seafloor from that 2011 eruption, you know, there's animals starting to colonise that now, you know, just sort of 9 years on, well, 10 years on actually.
Sure. Now, your company finally organises scientific expeditions, all part of the big tourism industry that the Canary Islands is famous for and La Palma is famous for. How difficult will it be for the island to come back from this on that front?
Yeah, there's plenty of different angles to look at it from. I mean, obviously the property destruction here, you know, has been devastating. But I think we're keen to stress that, you know, in you know, from the way it's been reported, in some places, you know, you might think, you know, the whole island is devastated, whereas actually the lava only covers, you know, less than sort of 1% of the land. And another angle to look at it is that you know, we've seen, you know, places like Iceland, places, you know, like actually La Palma after the 1971 eruption. The fact that there's been a volcano eruption here really sort of draws people in and gets people to, you know, come and take part in this almost volcano tourism, you could call it. So obviously in the short term, there's been a lot of losses, but I think long term, you know, the tourism industry will bounce back, and it
All
may
right.
even be sort of better than ever.
Right, so there is an upside to it. Well, Ben, for the time being, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much, Ben Island there. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks for your time. Thank you.